Hello again. This is Bob Weir with the Cross Timbers Gazette. My guest today is Tom Hayden, two-term mayor of Flower Mound and running for re-election to a third term. Mayor Hayden has two opponents this year, Jean-Pierre Scott and Jim Berent, both of whom have been the subject of recent video interviews. Thank you for being here, Mr.
Thank you for
Hayden.
having me. It's great to be here.
I won't go into your background and occupation and all of that, because I think most people know a lot about that. You can say something about that if you like. I'd like to begin with, from your experience as mayor, what do you consider to be the most pressing issues facing Flower Mound this year?
So there isn't just one. There's several. But let me list what probably are the what I think are the top three things we need to accomplish over the next couple of years. One, there's lots of things that we want to do in our town, whether it be work on the infrastructure in the east side of town, build parks, all these give our employees raises. We have to be able to pay for these things. And to be able to pay for these things, we've already made a good start the last 3 or 4 years. We need to retain our sales tax revenue within our town. That's where the park money comes from. That's where road improvements come from. So always being able to, because our budget is too reliant upon your property taxes. We need to diversify it so it's not 85% reliant on residential property taxes. So I think that's always going to be an issue for our town. Secondly, transportation, I think, is always going to be, for the next 10, 20 years, a significant issue for the town of Flower Mound. Being between Lake Grapevine and Lake Louisville, we're at the bottom of a funnel, and regardless of how fast Flower Mound grows, over the next 20 years or so, Denton County is expected to grow or almost double in size. That funnel is going to continue to come through our town. If we aren't making plans now for 10 years from now, it's going to be a mess. And I'm very fortunate that Andy Eads and Bobby Mitchell, they've really helped us since I've been elected mayor. We've done almost $200 million of transportation improvements that directly affect Flower Mound, but that needs to be a focus. And then secondly, you know, a lot of us moved here for the quality of life, and the quality of life that we look for is being able to do things outside. And so we've made great strides in our parks. The amount of trails in Flower Mound has more than doubled since I've been elected mayor, but that needs to continue to be a focus. We want to be able to have people where you can go out and you can do things outside.
Can you give residents an update on the Riverwalk, the progress?
So, first of all, let me talk about what is the Riverwalk. When people say, what is the Riverwalk, they think of the immediate area. The Riverwalk actually includes a hospital, it includes Market Street, it includes where La Madeleine's is, it includes this whole area. So, since the Riverwalk was created, if you include the hospital and the jobs that are next to it, I mean, there's probably been 1,500 to 2,000 jobs that have been created at the Riverwalk. Now, the area that people are thinking about, which is where the river is actually going to be, it's taking longer than we would like. However, before you can build a house, you have to build a foundation. And so in the last year or so, they spent almost $20 million on infrastructure improvements, which are being done. I know the permit's has been pulled for the hotel. And right now, they just put in the arches for pedestrian transportation as well as vehicular transportation over the river. In the next week or so, we're going to see approximately 2,000 trees planted at the Riverwalk. So it's coming along. I know that the river actually, that infrastructure is in place. They could flip a switch and the river could be running at this time, but they don't want to do that until they get some more things done. They started it's just within the month of March where say 10 to 15 restaurants are going to be. They've started leveling that so they can start putting the foundation in for that. So we're going to see a lot more things starting to occur. It is taking longer than we anticipated, but things are happening. As I said, before you can build a house, you have to put the foundation in place. And like I said, they put in $20 million of foundation.
And Lakeside?
So Lakeside, when people think of Lakeside, they immediately think of Lakeside DFW. But Lakeside in general, which is our business community, is the whole area that's in southern Flower Mound. So since I've been elected mayor, we've added almost 3 million square feet of commercial property in Lakeside. And also, I'm happy to report, and this includes Parker Square as well, but our commercial vacancy rates have fallen from 10% to 5% townwide, and that's with 3 million square feet of additional commercial activity. So, but in where Lakeside DFW is, The condo tower that is going to, they have finally reached 50% occupancy, or people have put down deposits for that, so that's going to start being developed. And I was just recently talking to the developer. This fall, they're going to start adding 3, 4, 5 restaurants overlooking, out on the peninsula. Restaurants are going to be built. It's going to be overlooking the lake. So that's coming along. So it's coming along.
Well, just for explanation to people who may not know, what is the town's master plan?
So the town has several master plans. We have a master plan for how the whole town will be developed. We have a thoroughfare master plan. We have a parks master plan. We have a master plan for the library. We have a master plan for about everything. One of the things that we don't have is implementation plans, which is the most difficult thing, I think, to do. It's great to have a plan, but now how you implement it. So when people ask, and I've been asked this question before, do you support the master plan? I support the tenets that make up the master plan, and those are: preserve the country atmosphere, mitigate the ill effects of rapid and intense urbanization, balance our tax base, ensure all development is of enduring and exemplary quality. I support that. However, the master plan is just a guideline of what we're supposed to do. And I've done several things since I've been mayor that have supported the master plan. One, a developer tried to put commercial in the Cross Timbers area, and I fought very hard against that. Rippey Road. At one point, someone tried, a year or two ago, tried to put apartments along Rippey Road, and if you were to ask them, the reason there are no apartments there is because I told a developer I'll do everything possible, because I don't think it fit in that part of town to discourage apartments being built along Rippey Road. So,
how about this? What kind of financial shape is Flower Mound in?
By the way, before I forget, I want to go back to one thing about the master plan. I just want to talk about smart growth as well. A lot of people make comments about smart growth. Every development that goes through the town of Flower Mound goes through a smart growth checklist. So whenever development comes through, it doesn't even come to planning and zoning or to the town council from consideration unless they've done all the applicable studies that are necessary for smart growth. But going back to what shape is the town of Flower Mound in financially? We're in the best financial shape in the town's history. Matter of fact, let me just read some things that since I've been elected mayor, the general fund debt has declined by 17%. Our interest expense on the general fund has been reduced by 27%. Now that's as the budget's grown, but in absolute dollar amount, the amount of outstanding debt for the general fund has shrank. We were just recently upgraded to AAA, which is the highest rating we've ever had. As a matter of fact, one of the things that S&P listed when they gave us a AAA rating is diversification of the town's tax base. They noted the commercial aspect that's growing for the town. The town's reserves are in the highest absolute level they've been in since we've been a town. And the other thing that's happening, I'm really proud about this, is we've been able to continue to give the town employees steady raises every year. For many years, there'd be a raise, in 2 or 3 years, nothing would happen. Then there'd be a raise. And matter of fact, I've been talking to our CFO, Deborah Wallace. We have plans for the next 4 or 5 years where we've mapped out giving raises for the town for our employees. And that's really important. Before I became mayor, the greatest turnover that the town had, the department, was in our police department. And it was approximately 47%. People would come here, they'd get training. That was over a 5-year period. But they'd come, they'd get training, then they'd go to another community. Being able to retain quality employees is really a big part of that, is whether we can give them competitive compensation. And I feel very fortunate we've been able to do that the last several years.
And how about the tax rate? Do you want to say anything about that?
So the tax rate is we were able to reduce it for the first time in the last 25 years. So we do a comparison with our 15 peer groups. And so as you look at our tax rate, it goes down. We're in the bottom quartile of our peers. You have Grapevine. I'm trying to think of some of the other communities. But one of the things that when you compare us, and even though we're in the greatest, or the lower quartile, these other communities have much more significant sales tax revenue. And if we're ever going to do the things that we want to do, such as work on the infrastructure on the east side, maintain our roads better, again, it's got to come back to, there's all these great plans we want to do for our town, but it's difficult to pay for it. Right now, we have $30 million of park improvements we want to do for our town. That all comes from sales tax revenue. Our sales tax revenue is only about $2 million a year. So,
Well, Mayor Hayden, thank you so much for coming here for this interview, and I want to wish you great luck in the campaign.
can I conclude with something?
Yes.
Do I have time to conclude
Please,
with it?
please do.
So the one thing I wanted to conclude with, I think it's really important. This is my platform when I ran in 2012. If you look at the things that are on here when I ran in 2012, I've accomplished 90% of the things that I talked about. That's one of the things that I wanted people to remember is Tom does what he says. He gets out, he talks to residents, but he also, whenever he says he's going to do something, he's not just something ambiguous. I'm going to accomplish what I said, and I'm very proud of the things that we've done in our town. And also, just to wrap up, nobody does anything alone, and I'm very grateful for the support I've had on council the last 4 years. Without their help, none of the things we've accomplished would have also been there.
Again,
So,
thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.